Poland has just crossed a critical threshold in its approach to digital assets, passing comprehensive crypto legislation at the same moment a major domestic exchange faces a widening fraud investigation. This dual development isn't coincidence. It's a signal that regulatory patience is ending. The real story isn't just that Poland crypto regulation has finally advanced, but why it's happening now and what it means for exchanges operating in the shadows of oversight. The Polish Sejm has approved a cryptocurrency market bill, marking the first successful passage of such legislation after 2 prior attempts failed to gain traction. This third version aligns directly with the European Union's markets in crypto assets framework, known as MiCA, bringing Poland into step with broader EU efforts to standardize digital asset oversight. The law mandates licensing for crypto service providers, enforces consumer protection standards, and establishes reserve requirements for custody and transparency. By adopting this framework, Poland positions itself as a compliant EU member state, one that's no longer waiting for clarity, but actively shaping it. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The mechanism here is institutional risk management. Lawmakers aren't just reacting to fraud allegations, they're closing the compliance gap that allowed such risks to grow in the first place. MiCA implementation Poland isn't merely about rules on paper, it's about enforcement capacity. The new law gives Polish authorities the tools to demand audits, verify reserves, and hold exchanges accountable. For firms operating in the country, the era of self-regulation is over. Licensing will no longer be optional, reporting will be mandatory, and non-compliance could mean shutdowns. The stakes are high. Poland's crypto market is one of the most active in Central and Eastern Europe, with a growing base of retail users and fintech innovation. The new framework could attract institutional capital seeking regulated access, but it could also squeeze out smaller, undercapitalized platforms unable to meet the new bar. The Zondacrypto fraud probe may become the first test case for how aggressively regulators apply their new powers. Will they pursue penalties? Demand restitution? Force operational changes? The answers will set a precedent not just for Poland, but for how EU member states interpret MiCA in practice. But here's the catch. The bill is passed, but the rules aren't fully written yet. The implementing regulations, those that define licensing criteria, transition timelines, and enforcement procedures, are still pending. That uncertainty creates a window. Exchanges now face a race against time, adapt or exit. The EU MiCA framework rolls out in phases, and Poland's national implementation must align with that schedule. The immediate question for market participants is not whether the law applies, but when compliance deadlines will hit. Most people arrive after the move is obvious and the easy upside is gone. We focus on serious crypto education and high-quality signals before the crowd rushes in, so you can understand the setup earlier and move sooner. If you want that edge, visit the link below now. The important part is not just the legislation itself, but what it reveals about the changing relationship between regulators and crypto firms. Digital asset regulation is no longer theoretical. It's operational. The Zondacrypto investigation underscores a broader trend. Global regulators are using enforcement actions to shape behavior, not just punish it. Crypto compliance Europe is shifting from voluntary standards to enforceable law, and Poland is now firmly part of that movement. Still, we can't overstate what we know. The probe into Zondacrypto remains unconfirmed in its full scope. No findings of guilt have been made, and the success of Poland crypto regulation will depend entirely on how consistently it's applied. The next signal to watch is the release of implementing rules and any public action taken under the new law. That's when we'll see whether this is real oversight or just new language on old problems. Poland crypto regulation has entered a new phase, one defined by accountability, not ambiguity. Whether this deters misconduct or drives innovation will depend on execution. But one thing is clear: the window for operating without oversight is closing fast.